Hi, I'm Nathan Oakley and this is video log number 86. I don't often make reaction to comments videos. I did in the very early stages of making them, but I find them a bit tedious, so I try and avoid them. And in this instance, I'm making a reaction video to a comment on someone else's video. So there we go. Antonio Subarat's made a video called "The Best Fighter Is Never Angry," or words to that effect. And I'm not going to go through the points he made, which are excellent, and I'm hoping we'll discuss some on mechanics of the fourth wall and go through some examples, pictorial examples with subliminal messages in them. So I'm really excited for the next episode of that. I keep mentioning it. But the comment was from Ed Upside Down Head, and credit where credit's due, he was right. He said, words to the effect, you say truth, but the flat earth doesn't have a working model. And he's obviously referring to the AE map being debunked, which it has. And he added that without a working model, the truth, as it's in quotation marks when he writes it, the truth should remain speculation until proven otherwise. And I thought, good point, Ed Upside Down Head. It's exactly how you'd want it to be. It's not enough that it's blatantly flat and we can just go out and have a look at it and examine it and put lasers on it and go out with our telescopes and look at the floods, and none of that's enough. And pointing out that they can't have their cake and eat it with regards to boats that fall over the curve or buildings that should be behind a horizon, and that curve that should be in the way in their mathematics or is justified by mirages in their instances should be exaggerated when you raise with altitude, but it isn't because the ball is way too big. In other words, they can't have their cake and eat it, but they do on frequent occasions. This isn't enough for someone like Upside Down Ed, and fair enough, you want answers. When you find out the earth is flat, in quotation marks, Ed, you've got the horrible notion of knowing very little about where you live. And wouldn't that just be the way you'd want to do it if you were in charge and trying to convince people of the polar opposite? The ball earth has been debunked. We don't live on a spinning ball. We do live on a flat expanse, and you've only got to look and see. And as Math Powerland keeps shouting about putting telescopes to the horizon and seeing boats come back in, and Laurie Ferrari is doing exactly the same with her red boat footage, there is no curve. This is an undeniable fact, and what you're left with is the fact that it's flat. Beyond that, you've got the propaganda that the people who are telling us it's a ball put in place, and part of that propaganda was the AE map. It's a 1,000-year-old Alberuni map. It's not a nice up-to-date map, and therein lies the point. There's no map, and we should be annoyed at this. We should have a map. It's very obviously not a globe. Let's see where we actually live. And all we're told is, well, your map doesn't work, and your map, the AE map, isn't our map. It's an old map that's been placed in plain sight with lights above it pointing towards it saying, look, we use this on the UN flag. This is an old flat earth map. Well, if all the other maps have got nothing about them and suddenly you've got bingo lights and fruit machine lights going off because it says flat earth all over it, that should throw up a few warning signs. But it's there to be debunked. It's a red herring. And what does it leave us with? Well, nothing. And that's outrageous. We should have a working model. And the public talking about making universal efforts to make a working model based on tracking the sun. This isn't good enough. We paid. We've already coughed up to know where we live. We've already coughed up for maps. What the hell's going on? Why are we having to do this after paying? It's disgusting. We've paid. Let's have a look. Now we know you've been lying. The least you can do is give us some real stuff. And they're not. They're just lying. They're just continuing to push the same rubbish. Now, Ed Upside Down Head is self-confessed ex-flatty, and not knowing where we are shouldn't lead people to attack the fact that the earth isn't flat. It very obviously is. It should lead him to outrage towards the same powers that be that we all criticise and say, we haven't got a map. This is outrageous. Give us one. Show us. We know you're lying. He knows we don't live on a spinning ball. He's confessed it to me in private messages. Sorry, Ed. Ex-flatty or otherwise, you know full well we don't live on a spinning globe, and what you're left with, arguments aside from the concavers, who are still trying to convince us of beliefs in refractions that aren't really there, we haven't got a curve. There's no curve, therefore it's flat. We haven't got a map. That's outrageous. We've paid for one. I want my money back, or I want a real map of where we live, and it ain't a ball. Anyway, I've been Nathan Oakley. I'll see you all in the next video.